And when poor hapless Phaethon from the height of highest heaven looked down and saw below, far, far below, the continents outspread, his face grew pale, his knees in sudden fear shook, and his eyes were blind with light so bright. Would he had never touched his father's steeds, nor learnt his birth, nor won his heart's desire. Oh, to be known as Merop's son, too late! He swept away as when a bark is driven before the northern gales, and in despair the master leaves the helm, resigns his charge to heaven. What shall he do? The sky behind stretches away so far, yet more in front. He measures each in turn. Ahead he sees the west that fate ordains he shall not reach, then looks back to the east. Dazed and in doubt, he cannot hold the reins or let them fall, or even recall the horses' names. And then he sees in panic strewn across the sky monstrous, gigantic shapes of beasts of prey. There is a place in which the scorpion's claws curve in a double arc, with tail and legs on either side crossing two signs of heaven. Sweating black venom, there before his eyes, circling its tail to strike, the creature lies. His senses reel, he drops the reins aghast, and when the reins fall loose upon their backs, the horses swerve away, and unrestrained gallop through tracks of air unknown, and race headlong, out of control, running amuck amidst the stars fixed in the vault of heaven, hurtling the chariot where no road had run. And now they climb to highest heaven, now plunge sheer in breakneck descent down to the earth. The moon in wonder sees her brother's team running below her own. The scalding clouds steam, the parched fields crack deep, all moisture dried, and every summit flames. The calcined meads lie white. The leaf dies burning with the bough, and the dry corn its own destruction feeds. These are but trifles. Mighty cities burn with all their ramparts, realms and nations turn to ashes, mountains with their forests blaze. Athos is burning, Oeta is on fire, and Tmolus and proud Taurus and the crest of Ida, dry, whose springs were once so famed, and virgin Helicon and Hemus, still unknown, unhonored. Etna burns immense in twofold conflagration, Eryx flames, and Othrys and Parnassus's double peaks, Cynthus and Dindima and Mycale, and Rhodope, losing at last her snows, and Mimas and Cithaeron's holy hill. Caucasus burns, the frosts of Scythia fail in her need. Pindus and Ossa blaze, and lordlier than both Olympus flames, and the airy Alps and cloud-capped Apennines. Then Phaethon saw the world on every side ablaze, heat more than he could bear. He breathed vapors that burned like furnace blasts, and felt the chariot glow white-hot beneath his feet. Cinders and sparks past bearing shoot and swirl, and scorching smoke surrounds him. In the murk, the midnight murk, he knows not where he is or goes. The horses whirl him where they will. The Ethiops then turned black, so men believe, as heat summoned their blood too near the skin. Then was Sahara's dusty desert formed, all water scorched away. Then the sad nymphs bewailed their pools and springs. Boeotia mourned her Dirce lost, Argos, Amymone, Corinth, Pyrene, nor were rivers safe, though fortune's favour made them broad and deep, and their banks far apart. In middle stream from old Peneus rose the drifting steam, from Erymanthus too, and swift Ismenias, and Mysian Caicus and the dawn. Meander playing on his winding way, tawny like Cormus, Xanthus doomed to burn at Troy a second time, Melis of Thrace, that sable stream, Eurotas, Sparta's pride, Euphrates burned, river of Babylon, Phasis, Danube, and Ganges were on fire, Orontes burned in racing Thermodon, Alpheus boiled, fire scorched Sperchius's banks. The gold that Tagus carries in his sands ran molten in the flames, and all the swans that used to charm the Lydian banks with song, huddled in mid-Castors sweltering. The Nile in terror to the world's end fled, and hid his head, still hidden. His 7 mouths gaped dusty, 7 veils without a stream. The same disaster dried the Thracian rivers, Hebrus and Strymon, dried the lordly flow of western waters, Rhone and Rhine and Po, and Tiber, promised empire of the world. Earth everywhere splits deep, and light strikes down into the underworld, and fills with fear hell's monarch and his consort. The wide seas shrink, and where ocean lay, a wilderness of dry sand spreads. New peaks and ranges rise, long covered by the deep, and multiply the scattered islands of the Cyclades. The fishes dive, the dolphins dare not leap their curving course through the familiar air, and lifeless seals float supine on the waves. Even Nereus, fathoms down in his dark caves, with Doris and her daughters, felt the fire. Thrice from the waters Neptune raised his arm, and frowning face, thrice fled the fiery air.